1. When training Chartered Life Underwriter (CLU) candidates, which adult learning principle best ensures retention of complex tax code applications? A. Rote memorization. B. Problem-centered learning. C. Passive lecture delivery. D. Repetitive drilling. 2. In evaluating a CLU candidate's ability to assess client insurance needs, which evaluation method best demonstrates applied knowledge? A. Multiple choice exam. B. Role-playing case study. C. Short answer quiz. D. Self-reflection journal. 3. A mentor guiding a CLU candidate through advanced estate planning concepts should prioritize which mentoring technique? A. Dictating correct answers. B. Modeling professional judgment through case analysis. C. Limiting discussions to exam topics. D. Providing written notes only. 4. When developing curriculum for the CLU test, which approach aligns most with adult learners' motivations? A. Focus on abstract theory without context. B. Emphasize practical, real-world applications. C. Require memorization of definitions alone. D. Provide lengthy reading without discussion. 5. Which communication method best supports CLU candidates struggling with client communication scenarios? A. One-way lecture with minimal interaction. B. Guided practice with feedback. C. Silent reading exercises. D. Written testing without discussion. 6. A compliance-focused evaluation for CLU candidates should most appropriately measure A. Candidate's ability to memorize statutes verbatim. B. Candidate's ability to apply regulations in advisory contexts. C. Candidate's speed in reciting compliance laws. D. Candidate's personal interpretation of ethics. 7. Which technique enhances mentoring effectiveness for CLU candidates preparing for regulatory compliance sections? A. Ignoring their weak areas. B. Using case-based discussions of real compliance challenges. C. Requiring them to read regulations without interpretation. D. Replacing interactive dialogue with self-study. 8. In adult learning, CLU candidates learn best when A. Instruction is imposed without explanation. B. Lessons build on their existing professional experiences. C. Learners are given only abstract models. D. Testing is the only instructional method. 9. To evaluate critical thinking in a CLU training program, the best method is to A. Have candidates repeat terminology aloud. B. Use client case scenarios with multiple solution paths. C. Require memorization of policy provisions. D. Test recall of unrelated facts. 10. In designing CLU test preparation curriculum, which ensures compliance with professional standards? A. Aligning materials with governing body requirements. B. Prioritizing speed over accuracy. C. Using outdated study guides. D. Focusing on informal discussion only. 11. A candidate preparing for the CLU exam demonstrates limited communication skills. A mentor should A. Ignore communication and focus on test content only. E. Provide structured role-play opportunities with feedback. C. Assign more readings without interaction. D. Delay addressing the issue until after the exam. 12. When constructing CLU exam preparation questions, which principle of adult learning ensures higher engagement? A. Linking content to professional decision-making tasks. B. Focusing only on academic research. C. Avoiding practical examples. D. Limiting interaction to test drills. 13. Which evaluation tool best measures a CLU candidate's grasp of fiduciary responsibility? A. Case-based performance assessment. B. timed vocabulary test. C. Multiple choice recall quiz. D. Self-assessment survey only. 14. Curriculum development for CLU exam preparation should begin with A. A needs analysis of the learner's professional goals. B. Listing all possible statutes. C. Memorization-focused outlines. D. Prioritizing personal opinions. 15. Which communication strategy helps CLU instructors convey complex insurance law to adult learners? A. Using technical jargon without explanation. B. Relating concepts to familiar professional experiences. C. Providing no examples. D. Limiting teaching to lecture-only formats. 16. Mentoring in the CLU preparation process is most effective when mentors A. Share personal stories only. B. Encourage reflective practice through questioning. C. Avoid difficult topics. D. Rely solely on written handouts. 17. To ensure regulatory compliance in CLU exam preparation programs, instructors should A. Regularly update content to reflect current laws. B. Reuse outdated materials for efficiency. C. Ignore changes until mandated. D. Rely on learner research alone. 18. Which adult learning principle is most violated if CLU instructors ignore candidates' prior industry experience? A. Self-directedness. B. Experiential learning. C. Practical application. D. Problem orientation. 19. In evaluating mentoring outcomes, the most reliable measure is A. The mentor's satisfaction with the process. B. Observable improvements in candidate decision-making skills. C. The number of sessions completed. D. Learner's ability to memorize statutes. 20. A CLU candidate struggles with applying tax concepts. Which instructional approach best supports learning? A. Step-by-step guided practice using sample cases. B. Assigning extensive textbook chapters without context. C. Asking candidates to memorize terminology. D. Avoiding practical exercises. 21. Which evaluation method best balances fairness and rigor in CLU exam preparation? A. Random guessing strategies. B. Clear rubrics for case study analysis. C. Oral recitation drills. D. Reliance on subjective instructor judgment. 22. Which principle of adult learning enhances CLU candidates' engagement during compliance training? A. Relevance to their advisory practice. B. Memorization without application. C. Passive listening. D. Isolation from real-world scenarios. 23. A curriculum developer for the CLU test wants to integrate mentoring. Which design element ensures this? A. Embedding peer learning and reflective activities. B. Excluding collaboration to save time. C. Providing only reading lists. D. Relying on unstructured discussion. 24. Communication barriers in CLU mentoring can be reduced by A. Active listening and clarifying feedback. B. Ignoring misunderstandings. C. Using only technical jargon. D. Avoiding interactive dialogue. 25. Which adult learning principle best supports CLU candidates balancing study with professional duties? A. Flexibility in scheduling and content delivery. B. Rigid lecture schedules only. C. Prohibiting online study tools. D. Limiting access to case practice. 26. In developing CLU test preparation materials, evaluation methods should A. Measure higher-order problem solving, not just recall. B. Focus on memorization of definitions. C. Exclude scenario-based questions. D. Avoid applied reasoning. 27. Which mentoring technique fosters independence in CLU candidates? A. Encouraging self-directed analysis of client cases. E. Providing immediate answers without explanation. C. Discouraging exploration. D. Limiting access to resources. 28. A CLU program director ensures compliance by A. Aligning curriculum with professional ethical standards. B. Ignoring accreditation requirements. C. Focusing only on commercial materials. D. Leaving compliance to learner discretion. 29. Communication training for CLU candidates should emphasize A. Building empathy in client interactions. E. Memorizing legal terminology alone. C. Avoiding role-playing. D. Limiting practice to written exams. 30. A key adult learning principle that supports CLU candidates and retaining ethical decision-making frameworks is A. Immediate application through practice scenarios. B. Passive listening. C. Memorization without discussion. D. One-way communication. 31. Evaluation of CLU candidates' readiness should prioritize A. Competence in applying knowledge to client cases. E. Memorization of exam outlines. C. Quantity of study hours logged. D. Use of rote repetition techniques. 32. Mentoring effectiveness for CLU exam candidates is maximized when mentors A. Provide constructive feedback linked to goals. Avoid challenging learners. C. Depend solely on lecture. D. Minimize learner autonomy. 33. Curriculum development for CLU test prep should include which step to enhance regulatory compliance learning? A. Integrating current laws into realistic practice modules. B. Excluding compliance due to complexity. C. Teaching compliance only at the end of training. D. Using memorization-only drills.